We live? We rolling? All right. That's a way better lead into the last one that we were trying to do.
I have some prospects for you, by the way.
It's prospecting. Speaking of prospects, we are joined with our athlete director, Victoria Luzader. Before we get into who you are, because most people probably won't care. Just kidding.
I already know her.
Yeah, I already know her. We want to talk a little bit about the athlete program today and Victoria, so people get to know her. We'll chop up some clips so she can send out to people. She'll be famous. But Brian, why don't you give us a rundown of the athlete program prior to what we've been trying to do? What did it look like, in the early days of Titan? When did you guys first, start it? What did it look like?
I think like a lot of we didn't really we wanted like ambassadors, so we just found athletes to give product to. If there were big names, give money to, and that developed into really. You learn, you kind of learn what moves the needle, what doesn't. Now I'd let Victoria go into more detail, but you find that like coaches that can give testimonial and are also athletes, and not just. I think when we with Titan, we always think of like competitors in like the bodybuilding arena, not necessarily bodybuilders, but physique competitors and women's fitness, physique, bikini, all that. But there's a lot of athletes that we work with. We've recently signed on some NCAA wrestlers. It's all brand new with NIL, where they can have the name, likeness, image, actually earn money. Who else do we have? Some runners. Volleyball. That's a new one. Cheerleaders, even. Yeah. So
Beach volleyball, right?
Yeah, we've got both. Yeah.
Both. Okay.
Yeah. So just a widespread. I mean, anyone like who's like I said, kind of a good ambassador for the brand and can shine a good light on the products and give testimonials on how they're working for them. That's always been the case. But we've kind of, like I said, Victoria will go into more detail on that. We've got a little more sophisticated and working with those athletes. And it's one thing to be good at your sport and have a lot of followers because they like how you train, your look, your aesthetic. But then the next step is to take them and say, here's how to earn money.
Yeah.
Here's how to earn money with the things you're doing. And so that goes in more to the not just product training, but marketing and showing an athlete how we can help you grow your profile and your income, not just in Titan, because they're probably, there's apparel companies and meal prep companies and other things they're working with. And we try to help them grow in all those areas.
Yeah, we try to let them develop professionally. That's the goal anyways, at least to see the light.
And a lot of our, we use athlete or ambassador synonymously. So some of them are really fit moms and dads who are just good spokespeople for the brand and they're helping get the word out there, kind of the word on the streets. They're in the gym talking about it. They're talking to their peers and stuff about it. And they've just become good advocates. So we in turn work with them, and if nothing else, they're getting a good discount on their products.
Yeah, those early days, were there links or anything like that? Were they able to earn commission, or were they used in a different capacity? I'm talking like before I was even here.
I mean, earlier, like so we're like inception of Titan. 2006 to 10, that it's probably we're asking for, we have a website and we're asking for posts and to talk about it and just sending free product. But now that's more sophisticated with the links and code tracking. And
did you guys have ambassadors that early on in 2006?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much from when we started up, we had like Michael Johnson. Michael Johnson was not the UFC fighter, top contender as he was, a few years ago. He's kind of entering he's in his mid-30s towards the end of his career now, but he was just getting started when Titan was getting big. He was on the Ultimate Fighter, and this is when I was still doing some training. I was still working at Springfield Fight Club when he was there, coaching wrestling, and Michael was training with us at doing sports performance with Paul and I at MTS. So it was as he's kind of going up like, hey man, we'll kick you some products and talk about the brand and. You're nobody, we're nobody.
Yeah,
that's how we got started with him. Now he's a household name if you're an MMA guy and still working with us.
Were those athletes? I know there's a few more. Were they doing events with you guys? How did you utilize them outside of just like, hey, we knew them personally?
Events they would go do events. And this is something we still have athletes that have some star power that we do events with, but. I think the first big event we did with Michael was in this is a little more. I mean, recent. I'm trying to think when it would have been 20. Not recent.
You told me that sometimes you just go into events with people around here. They're CrossFitters and whatnot that come work events with you.
Yeah,
So,
that's more like, hey, we can maybe not stars, but athletes that are local that would go work events and stuff with a top athlete. In the past we've had like Tony Burton. Still have Chalet, Travis Ortmeyer, who's a three-time. I think 3 times he was third at World's Strongest Man. Very popular in the strength and strongman
World record holder.
he was on ESPN.
world record. Yeah, I mean, he's like a bit. If you follow that stuff, you know who Travis Ortmeyer is. So some bigger names that even Robert Wickman's an Olympian. So he's done some events with us. But in the case like Michael, that would be like our retail partners, retail chains. If they're having a big customer appreciation day, an event, we would fly Michael in for that, or an athlete like him, we'd fly him in so customers could come get, they have 8x10s and get autographs and pictures and stuff with them. So that's always fun to be able to bring athletes to events like that.
Those early days, were you guys looking at other companies that were doing ambassador programs, or was it just kind of like, hey, we know we need some people, and it's an extension of the brand?
That was an extension of the brand. It was marketing. It was an extra person to market, a person who had a profile, something that we could highlight, kind of highlight them. Not that they needed our highlight, but people were already interested in, and if we could get them some product that, again, in the case of some of these athletes we're already working with, and then, hey, let's kind of promote.
Yeah, perfect. When did you start to see, or you feel like you started to see like a huge change in how people were using ambassadors?
I think we were late to the game.
Yeah.
We really were, because our and still is. That actually, we found out it works really well with our wholesale customers.
Right.
But because we've been such a B2B company, so strong in wholesale, we didn't really focus on. You typically think of an ambassador program as a direct to consumer program, but really those people like working with the stores can help drive traffic in there. So we were probably late to the game. I think by 2015, 16, about 10 years ago is when we really started to focus on like, let's take it more serious and get some athletes in.
Yeah.
Something we're still working on.
Yeah, right, exactly. It's always changing too. I know a lot of brands. You said 2015, 2016. It reminds me of my time at Max Muscle. When other brands were, I wouldn't say poaching. It's probably, I don't ever consider it poaching. It's just you're reaching out to people in the fitness space that probably were customers of a store, and then you kind of lose those customers for a while because they were working for a brand or whatever. So I mean, the same thing still kind of happens, but because the D2C has been a big shift and a big focus as of around 2020 and beyond. You see a lot more of direct-to-consumer ambassadors, and not so much the store ambassadors.
Yeah.
So
it's tough because the other way to look at that too is if as a retail operation, we use like here in Springfield, St. Louis, we do have a lot of ambassadors. We also have a really good traction in the stores because you have that many people in town talking about it, posting about it, and ultimately like the place people know to go get Titan here in town is Supplement Superstores. So we don't see a lot of web traffic here in town, even though we have a lot of web presence.
Yeah.
The place overwhelming where they're going to buy seems to be the retail stores, which I'm always, I'm not romantic where the money comes from, but
Right.
we want to get the word out about Titan and have people enjoying and benefiting from the products.
yeah, I mean, I've heard a bunch of times of people, I saw this ambassador, this influencer online, so I went and checked it out at my local supplement store and got it there.
Yeah, if
So,
anything, when the stores are like, "Hey, we have this ambassador promoting it to go buy it," like it's actually the other way around. The ambassador's like, "I can't get anyone to use my link. They're all going into the
Yeah.
store. It's cheaper."
Yep.
So
It's a win for the small business.
Yeah.
So and we do actually have quite a few ambassadors that get that and help out stores. So, well, that will lead us into who the heck you are. Who are you,
Hi, I'm Victoria. Nice to meet you both.
Victoria? What?
Victoria Luzader.
When did you start here?
It's like if you mix Darth Vader and
Lose
lose
it.
it together.
Well, Darth Vader is a loser, so it makes sense.
It's debatable.
Oh, okay.
Turns out he's a good guy. I don't think you've seen Star Wars.
Yeah, he's
Not
a daddy.
actually, no.
He's a daddy. So.
Not like you're thinking.
Yeah. When did you start here at Titan?
Almost 2 years ago, May 5th, Cinco de Mayo, 2023.
Yep.
Yeah.
Feels like an eternity, doesn't it?
Yeah, he's been here forever. You're there's only 2 females in this building, and you're one
There
of them.
sure are, yeah.
Yeah. What do we call it? You're at the sea level. You and Luke were talking about that. the CEO level, the C-suite of Titan Nutrition?
C-suite.
Yeah.
No, the director.
It's the D level.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Okay, so you started in May of 23. Okay, as the ambassador director. Tell us about yourself. What were you doing prior to getting to Titan Nutrition?
Prior to working here, I was in sales at a shipping and logistics company, which is actually the one we use here. So I think that's kind of funny, but it just wasn't, the place for me. I just didn't enjoy shipping, honestly.
Sounds
Not
super
passionate
exciting.
about it. Making 50 cold calls a day, talking to some grumpy warehouse men. Not for me.
Not for
I
you.
prefer the bodybuilders.
Where'd you go to school? Are you from this area?
I'm from Springfield, Missouri.
Okay.
Went to Missouri State University, and
And you were what there?
I was a cheerleader there.
Yes.
Yep, and I studied exercise science. So
What was your plan with an exercise science degree? I have the same
I
one.
had
Brian has
absolutely
one.
no plan.
Yeah.
No
I don't,
plan
I don't know if a
whatsoever.
lot of people with exercise science degrees have a lot of plans
No.
postgraduate.
That
No,
was like I remember my dad owned a gym, and I remember him telling me like, don't go get your, he called it a PE degree. Don't go get your PE degree. Go do something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a lot of people tell me the same thing. Don't get an exercise science degree. I mean, there was a lot of kids I went to school with that they planned on doing like PT school, stuff like that afterwards, but I had no desire to do
I
that.
just wanted to get the degree.
Yeah, exactly. So exercise science degree, you had no plan to use it at all. Why'd you choose that?
So, I grew up being a gymnast. My dad always had like a Smith machine and some free weights in the basement. So I just grew up being around like fit and active people and in that space. So I was like, well, I have no idea what I want to do with my life, but I've been doing exercise. So that seems like a good path.
Yeah,
So I did that.
perfect. Do you think that degree has helped you at all working here?
I think a little bit.
I don't know if it's helped me working here.
Like, I think that there's like some basics that
When they're
Still
talking to you
remember.
about fitness and stuff, you can at least like
Yeah. Like I
remember that from
remember
class.
some muscle names. I remember that ATP and stuff is important, but
tell me about the Krebs cycle. Real quick.
no, I will not tell you anything about it because I do not know it.
I think what college does, regardless of, regardless of, if you're going to be an accountant, you need to have an accounting degree.
Yeah.
If you're going to be a surgeon and so on. But I think for like exercise science, really what it gives you is 5 more years of maturity with peers that are headed on the same path as you, trying to be professionals and how to interact with them and jump through the hoops if you're going into the corporate world. And
Yeah.
that you can finish tasks and assignments and things like that. That's and your social network. That's where I feel like kids, the benefit of going to college, hopefully you can get some tuition paid for, scholar, something,
Yeah.
so you don't lace yourself with debt. But I think the real benefit of college, other than those very specific doctor, lawyer, accounting, there's several of those. The real benefit is the social network and the maturing and how to communicate and how to work with professionals that are your professors and coaches, whatever that looks like,
Yeah.
to and with a team, a lot of projects, assignments, stuff they work like. That's what college.
It's a lot of
does.
time management. You learn some time management
Yeah.
through
Yeah.
that. So
I
how to
learned,
juggle
like-
a lot of things.
Self accountability. Like I didn't have my parents there to wake me up and make me go to class. I had to do that myself. I had to go to work and make sure I was on time for my shifts by myself. I had to make sure I was showing up for my team on my own. I didn't have anyone there like micromanaging me. So I feel like that is what prepared me the most for post-college life, was just having to show up somewhere and complete the job.
Yeah, be an adult.
Yeah.
Be responsible.
Yeah.
Yep. So since your time being here and we've had a few girls working here, some of your besties that have left and went elsewhere. What is it like working in this office with a bunch of bros? I think bros is probably the best way to describe us.
Yeah. I have a blast. Every day is an adventure. You always hear some funny stuff walking around through the office. It's
A lot of farting.
yeah, sometimes some stenches, but
Dennis.
no, he's the best one.
Yeah, Dennis
he's
is probably the best one here.
Yeah, he's my favorite. I have my own office, so I get to like go away.
It is a little
if I
girly.
need to.
It's it's the girliest office in the building.
It is, and it's not even that girly.
Yeah,
That's the thing.
I was gonna say it could be girlier.
Way girlier, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so it's not that bad working here. With a
No,
bunch
I
of-
love it. I get
bunch of
to.
dumb Neanderthals.
I don't have to be like buttoned up and professional all the time. I get to be a bro too, which I enjoy. So
You are kind of a bro.
thank you.
Yeah. So, okay. So since taking over this position, what I want people to kind of just get an overview of the program. And I think the best way to go about it is I kind of want to talk to you as if I was an athlete, coming through the program. Brian, you can jump in here and you can be a different type of athlete too. But let's just say, first, take me through the prospecting process. What are you doing to prospect? How are you finding athletes? We have a form online. They can sign up online. They see us. We have people sending DMs or whatever. How do I become an ambassador? But for the people that have never heard of Titan, or maybe have heard of Titan but never even consider it, what's your prospecting process?
Yeah, so it's mainly through Instagram. I get some from TikTok, but mainly I'm just going on Instagram looking at coaches primarily, or athletes that have larger followings. But coaches tend to be the most successful since they have people, actively taking like meal plans and advice from them. So they tend to be more consistent and have a more loyal customer base. So I'm looking for coaches of like any nutrition coaches, bodybuilding coaches, even sports coaches, like wrestling coaches, cheer coaches, anyone that would be giving out, advice based on like fitness and nutrition to their athletes or clients. And from there, I'm messaging them like, hey, my name is Victoria. I'm the ambassador leader at Titan Nutrition. Are you interested in working with a program like ours? And then once they respond back, I send them some more details, a link to set up a call. We have a call, go through all of their questions, give them a rundown of the entire program, and then make sure they've tried the product. If they haven't, I'll send them a sample package. And then from there, we make sure it's a good fit for both parties and then sign them up.
Okay, so you reached out to me. I get a DM from you, and I am a personal trainer who specializes in doing nutrition plans. Obviously, I do the training on top of that. I have about 7,000 followers on Instagram. Okay, so you send me that first message. I say, yeah, I'm interested. We set up a call. What's that initial first call look like? What are some of those common questions you get from the coaches or from ambassadors that you reach out to?
Yeah, a lot of them ask about the products themselves, like, oh, what kind of products do you guys carry? Are they third-party tested? All those types of questions about like the quality of the product. Obviously, we have the highest quality products on the market, so those are easy to answer. And then from there, their questions are, how do I make money? How do I be successful? What are the expectations? What are the social media expectations? Things like that. So we just go through a rundown of, what their commission looks like, what the discount looks like, all of their incentives and the different ways for them to earn cash or some extra free product, stuff like that. And then also what resources we provide. So they're like, okay, I'm here to make you guys make sales for you guys. What do I get? Well, you get commission, first of all, and then we give you guys resources to help build your personal brand as well, not only just building your sales through Titan, but helping you with your coaching program.
Okay, so I use supplements. I've not heard of Titan before, but I don't use a lot of supplements. I'm picky about my supplements. Do I need to be pushing the entire line? How does that work?
No, we would recommend you do, but if you only take like protein, creatine, and a multivitamin, then those are the three that you should be talking about the most. If you have knowledge about other supplements like glutamine or pre-workouts or whatever else, then obviously educating the people that you think those supplements would be a good fit for is important.
Right, because I have clients that are asking about other products that I don't take, but it's not that I wouldn't recommend it to them.
Right. Yeah. So I just think having like at least a base knowledge level over, common ingredients, common products that your average client would take is very important.
Is there a specific package or anything like that you guys stand behind that I could push?
Yeah, we have our like core four is what we call it.
What's in the core four? Tell me about it.
Yes, that's protein, creatine, multivitamins, and omegas
And why would I be recommending those 4 products?
because they're good for everybody.
Do you mean to take that one?
Yeah, Brian.
Yeah,
why
you
don't you
got that.
I,
Brian's better at
The
that.
core 4 is a relatively new thing that, that we've kind of set up.
yeah, core four is where we would start. If someone said, I want the most bang for my buck. I take no supplements. Where do I start? And so this is an assumption, but you can assume most people, let's say they're even eating healthy, common American diet. We can assume that you're probably not getting all the vitamins, mainly minerals that you should be getting. So even if some we are, let's make sure we're covering our bases there. So the vitamin mineral complex to make sure we're, if you're not giving your body kind of the essential micronutrient needs to form basic functions, and how you can ask it to perform over and above for better performance recovery, etc. So that's the multivitamin. The protein. Not everyone has to take a protein supplement, but if we can go with the assumption and kind of agree that most people are under eating protein of any micronutrient, people probably get plenty of carbohydrates, plenty of fats. Those are easy to find and snack on, but really quality lean protein is sometimes lacking, and people more and more people find that hard to get, especially if you're trying to eat an adequate amount. 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. A really simple way to bump up we got to get those numbers up.
Bump those numbers
Got to
up.
get those numbers up. A powdered protein is a snack. It's a really good high quality protein. The omega, we're kind of inundated with a lot of omega 6s. So you have these omega fats compete for absorption in the body, and when you have like fast foods and grain fed chicken, beef, and things, it throws off the normal ratio of omega 3s to omega 6s. So, and that can cause inflammation, gut issues, inflammatory issues. So getting a supplement source, a supplementary source of omega 3s can help with inflammation in your joints, in your gut. Is going to help with heart health, brain health. The DHA and EPA, DHA in particular for your brain is really important. We're just not eating a lot of freshwater fish and things like that. So that's where the fish oil comes in. What's the other one? Greens?
Creatine.
I'm sorry, creatine. Maybe the most important. So creatine you find in red meat is a very common source of creatine. You get about 1 gram per pound of red meat. Now, how many people are eating a pound of red meat a day, let alone like what else comes with that, right? Depending on the source. But creatine is in terms of recovery, performance, and the way it helps turn over ATP, for converting ADP to the energy ATP, creatines. You mentioned the Krebs cycle, Dr. Chamness.
Yeah.
So creatine's ability, that's kind of what the foundation of creatine, right? Why it became popular is in terms of performance, but now you find all these mental health benefits. In everybody, I give my kids 1 gram of creatine a day. So
That's why Sam is so huge.
he's a big kid. The creatine, just something I always say, like, I don't care if you're 16 to 60, active, not active, regardless of goal. If you're a cyclist, if you're a bodybuilder, like everybody can benefit from creatine. So, and that's a really easy, inexpensive supplement to put.
There's like new stuff coming out on creatine every day. I feel like whether it's
the most studied, for harmless, like there's nothing but positive things coming out of creatine.
Yeah, there's tons of good stuff. The first stuff I saw was helping in the prevention of Alzheimer's, because your brain does run on ATP. It's the same systems. There's a lot of good things there for depression. Some of the most recent ones I've seen, if sleep deprived, if you have a bad night of sleep,
take a big load of if
you take 20
monster,
grams, if you take about 20 grams of creatine, it actually
for night shift workers.
Yes,
for take it when you have to switch back over. You have your days off. You want to go enjoy the family.
Yep. It helps bring up your production. Essentially, like you'll actually feel better as if you didn't have that bad night's sleep.
Yeah.
And that's acutely. That's not like a chronic thing too.
I had a dad, it was actually last night at Philips, he was taking Creex, one of our pre-workouts that has 5 grams of creatine. He's like, do I need to take creatine with it? So we had, that conversation, because creatine's such an important, thing. This is a pretty fit dad. He's aware and just curious, like, how do I get the most benefit out of my creatine?
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny talking about creatine, and then or just taking the bare minimum or just starting to supplement with it. And I've seen some of the DMs that come through of like when we're prospecting and whatnot of, no, I don't take any supplements at all. And that kind of flabbergasts me to be in this industry and to not use creatine
Yeah.
or a protein powder or something
Right.
like that, especially creatine. It just has so many beneficial effects to it.
There's some that really surprise me because they're like well-known coaches and they're like, no, I don't take any supplements. I'm like,
Bullshit.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're literally a.
FaceTime me. Show me your cabinets.
Well,
It's
it's
like, how do you not?
even from that perspective, I feel like from the business perspective, if you're a coach or something like that, you're not maximizing your ability to make money, but you're also not maximizing your own
performance,
Yeah, your own,
aesthetic.
Yeah.
exactly, your own health.
Yeah.
I've had some of them argue like, I just make sure that I get like all my protein from my diet. I'm
I
like, okay, but
understand
what
that.
about
I think that's
everything
probably the
else?
simplest one. Well, if you're well versed, you know how to do it. I think that's probably the. If I were to cut out, and I don't take every supplement we make, like that's at some point I have, right, but that's not on my daily. I don't
So much.
right. So, but if I had to cut one out, like, well, I can make up the protein,
Right.
with whole foods. But like you said, the creatine, the micronutrients and stuff. Yeah, Reds is a big one. I like the Reds a
Yeah.
lot.
Oops, sorry. Yeah, that one always kind of blows my mind. And with the protein powder, I totally understand when people are like, I get all my nutrients through whole food, whatever it is. Okay, that's not necessarily the point. Do you have clients who eat the steak and the chicken and the pork or the eggs or whatever it is to get all their protein in? No. Is that what they're struggling with? Then this is where a protein powder really comes in nicely to help you with that, help you supplement that, hit that protein goal.
Right.
So, okay, back on to this. So, I'm a coach. I have some clients. I have a website too. How do I, outside of just word of mouth, like, is there any way that I can advertise on my website? Is there a place that I can put anything where they can go and buy?
Absolutely. Yeah. So if you have a website, depending on like who you've created that website through, there's different ways you can add like the button or a link or even a page for Titan Nutrition on there. And you can put like your story, why you've partnered with Titan Nutrition and maybe like your favorite products, and then have your link that's unique to you. So you get the commission and the credit for the sale once they click that button and make the purchase. So you can do that through your website or even in your marketing emails if you have an email campaign that you do. So
What's so special about the links? Can't I just tell them to use a code? Do I get a code?
So yes, everyone gets a code, but it's a bunch of like numbers and letters, so it'd be like impossible to remember. We recommend just using the link because the link cookies into people's browsers. So even if they don't make that purchase the first time they click on your link, and then like a week later they come back and they're like, I actually think I do need to buy some creatine, and they search Titan Nutrition, your link will pop up because it's cookied into their browser. So then you still get credit for that sale. And then once they do make that first purchase with your link, they are then tagged in the like back end of our program as your customer. So every sale from there on out, whether they use your link or your code or not, you still get credit for that sale.
Okay. Well, how about this? I also have a couple coaches under my business. Is there anything like that where I can give them links? Do I get any of that? Do I see any of that reimbursement? How does that work?
Yes, so we do have a program where they call it an MLM style program. So you as the head coach will still have your like full commission link and everything. And then you have assistant coaches underneath you and they get a certain portion of the commission and then you get a small kickback from that commission as well.
Okay. That's kind of a nice program then.
Oh yeah.
Perfect. All right. Well, what are some of the best practices for me in setting this up and getting people to start using my links? I know I got to go and talk to them, but business-wise, are there any practices that you recommend that I do?
Yeah. So as far as with coaching, we have a few like templates that you can use as far as like an intake form for new clients that has them fill out a questionnaire, which I'm sure you probably already do so you can get to know your clients, but it adds a few others where you can find the gaps in their nutrition, where you can then place Titan products to help fill those gaps. We also have different templates for you to create like if you do recommend like the core four to every person that you coach, we've got that, and you can insert your link on there, and then they can just click on that link for each product. So you can have product specific
Okay,
links.
I was just going to ask. So I
Yeah.
have, okay.
Yeah, so you can make a link that will take them directly to creatine or directly to protein that acts the same way as your main referral link does. So that's a great practice, making sure your link is in your social media bio, and that when you're posting, like on your stories, adding your link in there specifically. We recommend posting 2 stories per week and then 3 posts or reels per month, just so people see Titan Nutrition regularly and consistently. That being said, social media posts don't always equal sales. That's more just for like the recognition and the reputation and giving you
Brand awareness.
yeah. And the word of mouth and actually talking about it and recommending it to the people in your community or the people that you're coaching is going to be the best way for you to gain a loyal customer base.
Gotcha. Okay. So you're saying if I send anybody a product specific link, they're still going to get cookied if they go back and buy a different product.
Yep.
Perfect. Can I create my own custom stack for people?
I don't believe. Do you mean like with
If
a
I,
link?
Yeah, if I came to you guys and said, "Hey, I like these 4 products," and it's not the core 4, it's just something completely different. Is that something that you guys could build on the back end, and then we could send to people, or no?
If it was so popular, we thought a bunch of people would want it. Yeah, you could make a bundle.
Okay,
You could make a bundle on the site or a stack on the site.
gotcha.
That'd be a really important coach.
Yeah. I know because we've done athlete stacks before,
Yeah.
but it's just more or less for them to talk about because that's what they use. Okay.
Yeah, like I've created different like Canva templates of like other stacks for specific coaches that are like, hey, I recommend these 3 or 4 products to everybody that I coach. Can you help me create a graphic for it or a page that just tells them what it is? So I've done that for them.
So you're saying if I want marketing and media material and I'm not very good at it, I can come to you guys.
I got your back,
What
yeah.
else? What can you do? Is it like, do you make it for me? Do we work together to kind of hone in on what that looks like? Is there a package of marketing and media material that you guys give me that I can also use?
So I already have quite a few social media templates and coaching resource templates, email templates, a bunch of different resource templates in our Google Drive folder that everyone has access to at any point in time. So they can use those, and just what they do is they go on Canva and then make a copy of it, and then they can just edit it however they please, add their own branding to it as well. If someone comes to me and is like, hey, I didn't see this in the templates folder, can you help me make this? I will absolutely make it, and then I'll add that to the template folder. That way, because if they want it, surely there's another coach that could use it too.
Yeah.
Even if it's a coach in the future.
Right. You mentioned some coaching resources. What is a coaching resource?
So like I mentioned earlier, like the intake form, the graphic that gives them, their stack, other product education resources that give them different like key points about each product, as well as like sales guides. So when a client asks you about a product, here's how to like handle that conversation to ensure that you get the sale at the end of that conversation.
Okay. Are there opportunities for me to make money just outside of my links?
Yes. So like Brian mentioned before, some of the events we can, help pay for gas to the events and then give you a stipend for your time there. That's something we've done before. We also do monthly challenges. So those do include the links frequently, because obviously the more sales you make, the more money you make, the more money I make. So that's a big incentive for the competitions. But yeah, so like the one we're doing for April is called the Triple Threat Challenge. So it's sales, content, and engagement. And there's a different point system, and top 3 all earn product allowance. And then the first place winner gets to host a giveaway as well.
Okay. Let's rewind it back a little bit. Let's go. I've never tried Titan Nutrition. What's the best way to get me to learn about the products if I've never tried it before?
Yeah, so I always recommend they go on our website and look at the products. And I always ask what products they currently take and then give them, like, okay, well, if you're taking this, here's our version of that. And then have them go check it out on the website. I also send a sample package. So, and I'll make sure if we have samples of of the products they're taking, I'll make sure we send our version of those products. And sometimes I'll write a little note like, hey, here's these products, please enjoy. This one is X product. This one is what you're taking. Here's why I recommend this one. So that's really the step one for introducing them to our product.
Okay. So I get the sample package. I try the products. I like it. What happens next?
You shoot me a text, say, hey, I love Titan Nutrition. I'm ready to take the next step. And then I send you our onboarding email. And that has all of the next steps for making sure your social media is up to par, making sure you're in our program so you get your link and are able to get paid through your link and have all your tracking and everything set up. It also has the links to our resources, the links to get into our WhatsApp group, and gives you it has a attachment that's like a PDF FAQ, like kind of your guide to being a Titan ambassador. So it goes through basically everything I told them about in our onboarding call, just as like a refresher. Here's what you get. Here's kind of our systems. It also links to all of the resources. So they're seeing everything multiple times too.
Where do I get my resources at?
Most of them are in Google Drive, and then also so Growth Hero is the program we use for them to like get their links, track their sales and everything. And in there's a marketing resources tab that also links to the Google Drive, but has some separate like product education videos that Brian has made in it as well.
Is there a place where there's constant communication or updates on things that are going on with the company?
Yeah, that's our WhatsApp group, as well as I send a monthly email, so I include all of that in there. But it's the WhatsApp group where I send every Monday. We have like hey, here's our sales leaderboard. Here's what's new this week at Titan. And I'm also communicating in there, more than just Monday, if they have questions or if we have any other news that just pops up throughout the week.
Okay. Do you guys do any kind of training at all?
Yes. So we do a quarterly training, and those are different each quarter. So the first one we did was about like how to maximize your links. And then we've done one on just a sales guide. That's a general, like whether you're a coach, whether you're a fitness influencer, or just someone who really likes Titan Nutrition and is a great ambassador for us, here's the best way to ensure that you're creating sales and maximizing your opportunities with the program.
Okay. We talked a little bit about maximizing your links. So you want to put it in your bio. Is there any place else you recommend we put the links? If I have a website, obviously get it linked up on the website.
Websites, emails. I always recommend saving the product specific links. Like I text myself, so I have them saved in my text messages. I know people like put it in their notes app or email it to themselves and pin the email. That way when you're having conversations with people, it's quick for you to pull it up and you can airdrop it to them or text it to them, whatever. That way they have it and can click on it right away. The best way to get a sale is just to make it so easy for that person to say yes.
Yeah. There's there can be a lot of drop off between a conversation if they don't have the link. Is that person going to go home and click on my link in my bio or go to my website, click on that link? I'm sure that it happens quite often that some people just end up going to the website, not using the link, and then they miss out on that sale.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about it, like anytime I'm in the gym and people approach me or I'm talking to people, it's the middle of a workout, and then I go and I focus on my next set, and then I go home and I'm like, I totally forgot that I was supposed to do something.
Yep. You mentioned sales training. What does that look like? How is all this presented to me?
So everyone's pretty busy and has different schedules. They're all across the country. So we even have some that are abroad. So I try to make it work with everyone's schedule as best as possible. So I usually do 6 to 10 different, shifts. So they're through Zoom. I just create different Zoom links, and they're typically 10 to 15 minutes long. That way it's not taking up anyone's day. They can do it between clients or between workouts, whatever. And so I'll send out the Zoom links. I'll have them like sign up and just basically they just text me or like the message in the group chat. And I know like, okay, they've signed up for this one. And so then I send out those links. We hop on and we go through. Usually I have like a PowerPoint of some sort. We go through that, answer any questions they have, and then we're all done. So it's pretty quick and easy, but it's very compact. So there's lots of really good information in a short amount of time.
Gotcha. The sales training, is Brian leading the sales training because he's quite the salesman? Or how did you guys develop that program?
I did it.
You did it with the help of Brian?
Yes, Brian and you. You guys
We
both
looked
looked
over
it.
all
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know,
Some
I
help
was
from
there.
ChatGPT.
Gotcha. Okay, so I'm up and going. I'm recommending products to my clients. What happens if I kind of fall off? Like, are you keeping in touch with me? What does that look like?
Yeah, so I'm reaching out to the athletes at least once a month. A lot of them will just reach out to me on their own as well. But I make sure I at least talk to all of them once a month, whether it's a text, an email, DMing them on social media, giving them a phone call, whatever works best for them typically, and gets me in contact with them because a lot of times, people will miss a text. So I'm doing whatever I can to make sure that I get to have some type of interaction with them every month, making sure that they have access to the WhatsApp group because sometimes it just randomly kicks people out, which is so annoying. But making sure they're still in there, making sure that they're still able to access all of their resources. If they've fallen off, I'm typically like, hey, I noticed a drop in our sales. Is everything okay? What's going on? How can I help you? Just trying to get to the bottom of what's caused that. Sometimes it's, I've just been so busy. I've had this family stuff. I've had personal life stuff, whatever. And so I try to be understanding about that. And like, okay, well, let me know how I can best help you. As soon as, all of this is kind of cleared up and you're ready to get back full force and going, keep me in the loop and I'm here to support you all the way.
You mentioned social media and posting. Are those requirements? If I don't do those, am I booted out of the program? What does that look like?
No, you don't get booted out of the program, but we do have a monthly product allowance that is performance based. So it's based off of, it's like a tiered. So once you hit a certain point in commission, you'll get X amount of product allowance, and then it stair steps all the way up to, if you make this much, you get however much more. But that is not only based on commission, it's also based on social media. So we check to make sure you've been making your 2 stories a week and 3 posts or reels a month so you can still earn that product allowance.
Are you checking that yourself, or how do you know? What if you just happen to not go to my profile for 3 days? How do you know if I posted?
Well,
or in my stories?
So in your stories, if you're tagging us, we get a DM and then it still shows, even if it's been more than 24 hours, it still shows so-and-so tagged you in the story. So I just have to trust that they actually had a Titan product in that story,
If
or
it's in
that
our
it was
DMs,
relevant.
it probably was.
Yeah, right. So I'm checking that. Usually I just go to our DMs and I have all of our athletes flagged, so I just can filter it and go through it pretty easily and see who has tagged us for the month.
I'm not very good at social media. What do you recommend? How do I get better at that? What are some basics I can do? Is there something that you guys offer that helps me with that?
Yeah, so we have different templates, especially for stories that have like the Titan logo that goes over like a picture, so you can drag and drop a picture in there. Like if you take like a gym selfie or something, or even like a picture with a product, you can then put the logo on it. So that's just a way to elevate your stories a little bit more. Really, what I recommend is just whatever feels genuine and authentic and that will perform well with your audience. If you have a decent following and pay attention to your social media, you should know what performs well for you. And even if you don't, there's ways to experiment and figure out, okay, this went well, this didn't go well, I need to make more stuff like this. But really, whatever is the most genuine and authentic to you is going to perform the best. So if that is you videoing your workouts and then like having your Titan shaker bottle at the end of it and chugging it, like because you're tired and refueling and saying leg day fueled by Titan Nutrition, that's perfect. Or even like sharing one of our posts to your story and adding your link in there. That's a great way not only to get more clicks on your link, but also to help out the brand awareness too. And that's part of the April challenge that gets you 5 points if you share one of our posts and add your link.
And another reason to share stuff too, that's covering one of your requirements.
Yeah,
being able to
yeah,
post.
that
And it
counts
kind
as
of
one of
cuts
your
out some of
stories.
that work too.
Yes,
So,
it's definitely easy to do that.
awesome. What are some, we'll just step outside of this conversation. What are some of the best type of content you see people making out there that you think actually moves the needle for them? Is it necessarily on social media, or do you think it's something that they're doing in person? I know I said content, but what are some of those things that you think people do really well that lead to sales?
I honestly think the best way to make consistent sales is if you're a coach and you have clients on meal plans and you just prescribe 1 scoop of protein for this meal or this snack or whatever. Take your 5 grams of creatine and make sure that that's in their daily meal plan. If you're not a coach, word of mouth is the best way to do that. Talking to the people that are close to you and the people that trust you, like, hey, I have been using Titan Nutrition and I have really noticed a difference with X, Y, and Z. I would really recommend you trying it out too. I have a link, it supports me. If you want to use that, go for it. So I think that's the best way because those people already trust you and know you. So, and they probably love you and want to support you. So using your link is a great way for them to do that. Yeah, I really think word of mouth is probably the best way for content. Some easy ones that I see that I think perform well for people that have larger followings is like unboxings. You know, everyone is curious what people buy. Everyone's nosy. So it's like, oh, what'd you get? Show me. At least I'm always curious about that. Might be a girl thing.
Might be.
But yeah, I think unboxings are just talking about like, hey guys, I just had the best leg day of my life. That's all thanks to Titan Nutrition Stim Rush. All the nootropics in there really helped me stay focused. I felt energized. Just talking about your experience with the product.
Yeah. One of the things that we try to do with our ambassadors, especially local, it's tough when they're far away or across the country, is we want to use as much people as we can in our content. Is there something that I can do, or is there something that you see in somebody's business that they're doing where you'll work with them to get their content on our page? Obviously, we can collab on Instagram, but do you have any systems set up like that where we can work to create content for you guys?
Yeah, so a lot of them will, honestly, they kind of do this on their own. They're like, hey, I got some professional photos taken. Do you guys want them? Will you use them? Absolutely, yes. Send me all of the pictures, even if they're not professional. We would love to highlight you on our social media. I mean, you're the guy, so.
A lot of them don't even see, like the stuff that goes out in emails and stuff. Sometimes they don't even see like all the content we use with it.
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of
it's
them
used
feel
everywhere, just not on social media.
right. Yeah. In our emails, everything. Yeah. And a lot of them feel special. Like I've had a few that I've put in emails and they're like, oh, you used me. Oh my God. So it's always fun. Yeah. And I always talk to them like when I am chatting with them, like, hey, if you have any content, like send it to me.
Yeah.
Please.
Also on that, people that do want to be featured, I think one of the things that we look for is if it's brand consistent. You know, we did just do the rebrand. So, you know, we're not going to use stuff that has, you know, a lot of the old logos or
Right.
the old labels on it. So part of that's on us as we're getting the new labels. Everything's been relabeled now. So everything's got the new labels on it. So that's all the stuff that you're going to see on the website, on the emails and social media. Try to stick to the new consistent branding. We do get a lot of people just tagging us in their workout stuff. They're not necessarily wearing anything Titan or
Right.
have anything Titan in that, which isn't a big deal. It's fine that you tag us in it, but you know, I don't want people to get offended that we're not resharing their
Yeah.
stuff. You know, we're a business and a company, and we're about brand awareness, so it helps if you know. you
Yeah.
got
And
the
no
name.
one likes tapping through a story a million freaking times. And we have people tagging us all day. Like we get so many notifications. We would just flood our stories if we shared everything.
Everything, yeah. There's a method to the madness, so
Yeah.
we try to be consistent with it. But that's one of the things we want people to be proud of the brand, think the brand's cool, and want to push that out.
Right.
So, Brian, do you got anything for the athlete program? Anything, moving forward that you want to see, or any advice to the athletes?
It's a growing program, so I think advice to like people if they think they would be a good fit, they would be a good match, then certainly reach out. You can scroll on the bottom of our homepage and find a link there to fill it out. Specifically, like if you're getting started, you're a personal trainer, coach, something of that nature, where you can not only use it to benefit yourself, but you can plug it into clients so they can get better results working with you. And then there's a monetary benefit in there for you too. So there's also something to be said for aligning yourself with a respected brand. If you're an athlete, I know some people are like, well, I don't want to promote. Like, and the truth is, if you don't want to take the products, then we don't want you to promote it either.
Right.
But if you're someone who's benefiting, you take supplements, it's part of your routine. And you want to plug Titan Nutrition in. We obviously feel like we have a great product that can benefit people. So we'd like to work with you. So we're actually having meetings this week we're developing more with our athlete program. So with a guy we got plugged into. So I think there's a lot of growth to come in the athlete program. Athlete ambassador, whatever you want to say. I think there's a lot to come with it. So I'm excited to see kind of what Victoria can do here. I think in the next few months, even it's likely to change.
Yeah, and there's a lot of things that we can do with our ambassadors. Like I said, we do a lot of stuff with our local retailers, with the athletes in their area. And if you are an athlete, that's not around us, but you have local retailers in your area, we want to work with you to maybe get Titan in that area more, so that will actually bring, not only will it bring more, Titan to that area, but it'll bring brand awareness for yourself, and people will see the Titan around. They'll see that it's been in stores, but they'll also see that, oh, hey, this person's a Titan Nutrition ambassador athlete. So
there's events that we're asked to go to. We can't, we're being in Springfield, we can't pick up and go to those events. There's some events where whether it's a promotional event or even like a speaking engagement or something. If we have athletes who are well-spoken coaches, the stuff we've reached out to even just recently, we've reached out to some athletes and say, could you represent the brand? But what they really want is someone from the brand to come talk about nutrition, exercise, things like that. So there's opportunities in there too.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so is there anything else I need to know? I've got all my stuff. I've got my website all linked up. I've got my links for specific products on my phone. I know you're going to be calling me or texting me once a month. Is there anything else I need to know? Is there anything else you guys are doing?
I think you got it.
Got it all
Yeah,
started.
pretty much.
Mom,
yeah,
Dad,
just
Mom, Dad, I
yeah,
can help you
start
out.
selling. Yeah.
Yeah. Luke, you got any questions for us?
No questions. I just want to say, other than Victoria, I probably am around the athletes the most, just doing photo shoots and video shoots and stuff. And to say that they love Victoria is an understatement. They all adore her. So if you're trying to work with the best athlete director in the biz, get in touch with her.
Well, that was a
You
great.
are very well liked for the athletes.
You are. Yeah.
Actually, thank you.
You know what I think though? This is it's fine that this is on the podcast. Victoria came. She mentioned she was a cheerleader, and Victoria still coaches cheerleading. And if you go follow her, she is into cheerleading.
I love
We do limit how much she can talk about cheerleading.
We have
in the
tried to
office.
pull her away. We want an equal spread of Titan cheerleading, but the thing is that she is a great cheerleader for the brand and for these athletes. And if you want to be highlighted, this would be a good point. If you want to be highlighted by a brand, it really is a good fit. Having you think, well, she's not a bodybuilder, but she's so willing to go. And I use the example of like, we're the lighthouse. We're kind of stuck on land, and these athlete ambassadors, they're out there spreading the word and helping out. If you want someone to shine a light on you and really put a positive on what you're doing, there's no better athlete director, as Luke said, than Victoria. She really, once you're in the program, that's kind of the help. I don't know who this person is. She's not a huge influencer herself. She's not, and that's all true. But come on board, work with Titan, and Victoria is a great person to help you really ascend in whatever you're trying to do.
Yeah, you'll be taken care of for sure. You're very organized, which I appreciate, because we work quite a bit together just through the email marketing and whatnot, but just even setting up stuff with athletes to come help us work events, or you do a lot of the reaching out.
When's the next event? We got
May 17th.
We'll be where?
St. Louis.
Come see us in
S2.
St. Louis. So our partners, Supplement Superstores, great retail. They're actually local, but they are, well, they're in several states now. But Supplement Superstores, if you're not aware, they have the best customer appreciation barbecues. They're
a blast.
They're fun. And this year they are doing one at their headquarters in St. Louis, which I'm going to try to stop by. I can't be there full time, which I'm bummed. Like, that's going to be a party.
Yeah.
This is not like, hey, we have to go work this event. Like, they feed all the vendors before the event starts. It's a cool hang. It's really fun. So if you are even close to the St. Louis area, May 17th, Supplement Superstores, look them up, Facebook, Instagram. They'll be posting about it. And then come see Titan Nutrition there. These two will be there. We will have some athletes showing up, giving tons of stuff, samples, etc. away. So a lot of fun to be had there.
Yep, definitely. Then there's one in Kansas City too, right? Or they didn't-
I don't know the date, but they're over the summer. They're over the summer, but they're having one in St. Louis, one in KC. Hopefully, add one here in Springfield as well. But cool events.
Yeah, if you are one of our athletes in the area, or potentially want to be one, come out, because when you can interact with us face to face, it's usually better. There's better communication that wise. I know things can get lost in translation over a text message, email, the WhatsApp group, whatever. Come out, talk to us, because there's a lot of times that we get a lot of our content shoots set up just by being able to speak to you in person.
Yeah.
So,
That's even the local athletes. If they want to do the St. Louis one, need to hit them up and see if they want to go, because that's gonna be a busy event. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
you guys are gonna be hustling to get stuff out of that. one.
and that's another thing too. And I was thinking about prior to this is that's an opportunity for us to help you grow your following, because you're going to be there.
Absolutely. You're there at the event where people are walking up, and I'm nobody. I get like, let's take a picture together. Let's get the Titan guy. Let's get pictures together. So it's fun, because you come into work. It's not always I think people think it's really fun here. I have a good time with it.
It's fun here, but it's also work.
It's fun, but it's
Yeah.
work. I also sit at a desk in front of a computer and make calls and stuff. But what is fun is showing up to a place where people are really happy, genuinely
Yeah.
happy to see you, and I love your stuff, and so that's always rewarding to get to go to those and hear it. And I think for the athletes, you think, do I want to go work at it? It's not like working an event. People are so excited to see you, and they want their picture taken with you, and just to be a part of the event, and the party is a good time.
It's definitely a party.
Yeah.
Perfect. Anybody
I
else?
have one more plug.
Go for it.
We also have team and podcast programs that are very similar to our athlete program. So if you are a coach or you're on a team that would like to use our program as a fundraiser, it lasts forever. You will always make money. It is a perfect program for fundraising year round. Please scroll to the bottom of the website, hit athlete program sponsorships. Or if you have a podcast similar to this one, or not similar at all, please click on the podcast sponsorship link and apply to be a podcast.
Get some cool supplements, make some money.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
do have a few podcasts that aren't even remotely close to the fitness space, right?
Yeah, they just talk about stuff.
Yeah.
And then they say, hey, also use Titan Nutrition.
Yep.
And they get more money.
It's perfect.
It's a win-win.
Win-win for everybody. Awesome. Thanks, Victoria.
Thank you.